Hello, this is Magda Shares and welcome to my channel. I know it's been some time since my last movie, but I hope this time I will give you some interesting things to ponder over. I'm going to combine two things, namely, first of all, I'm going to tell you something I don't remember when I told you about something that's going on in my country, and combine it with the Idaho4, because I think that we can draw some conclusions and connect the dots. Of course, I'm not saying that the crimes are absolutely the same, but there are some similarities, and things that are happening in the US are also happening in Poland. So let's start right now. On the 7th of October this year, public was shocked by the news of discovering the body of a 6-year-old child killed by cutting the throat. He bled out, and that's why he died in his own apartment. And together with the child, the dog that belonged to the family also died in the same manner. Actually, the dog's throat was cut. The person who was suspected of doing that was the father of the family. He was seen by the surveillance camera on that day early in the morning, because that happened early in the morning, like about 7 a.m. He was seen leaving the apartment, leaving the block of flats, running away and heading for the forest. He was a Navy soldier. He belonged to the Navy. The family lived in the north of Poland, in a city where there's a harbor, and he worked in the harbor. He was a soldier, as I said, belonged to the Navy. So he was 44. His wife was at work, but as she said, she had a strange premonition. She had a strange intuition that day that something bad was going to happen. Now, I don't believe in premonitions or that kind of stuff, because something is going on normal, good, and all of a sudden she has an idea that day something bad will happen. Come on. I believe she must have had some kind of information, not premonition, but okay, that's her story. So she left the job at about 10 a.m., went to their apartment, and to her horror, she discovered the body of her 6-year-old son on the floor, dead, because he had bled out. And of course, the dog was dead as well. That was horrific. Her husband was gone. The search for her husband lasted 18 days. The city where they lived was, is specific because it's surrounded by forest. But the forest is specific itself. It's not just a forest. It's very swampy and with lots of lakes, and it's difficult actually to run and escape and hide in that forest. The police explained that as he was a soldier, he knew all the tactics connected with survival in that kind of environment. But 18 days in that kind of environment is quite a lot. And there were many ideas, like he had left the country or somebody had been helping him to hide. My idea was that it's impossible, because I used to live in that city. It's impossible to hide for 18 days in that forest. It's too swampy. It's too especially during that season. And it's cold, and what he would just cover himself with leaves and what? No, definitely not. There were as many as 1,000 of police searching for him. To no avail for 18 days. So my idea was he was either dead or left the country already, because there was no way that he would hide in that forest for so many days. Now, as I mentioned before, it was swampy. The area was swampy with also many lakes. Small, not very deep, but with kind of floating islands on the surface. And there were also experienced divers who took part in searching for also the body of the father. And imagine one of the divers who went under the water of one of those lakes. The lake was not deep, died underwater. And that was the first red flag. Why did he die? The lake was not difficult. It was not easy, but it was not that difficult for an experienced diver. Okay, let's move on. On the 18th day, they finally found his body in that lake. In that lake. The autopsy showed that he had been dead for at least 15 days, which means that he was alive for maybe 2 days after the killings. Now, what was strange about the autopsy, the findings, was that on his body there were many artificial cuts on his shoulders, on his legs, and moreover, they discovered many bruises on his face that were that would be similar to punches on his cheeks, near his eyes, as if he had been beaten, punched. So it was strange. And the next very difficult to explain thing was that he had 2 shots in his temples with pneumatic weapons, but the shots were not lethal, that they did not kill him. So what killed him was drowning. So let's put the facts together. He had artificial cuts on his body. He was shot in both temples with pneumatic weapons. He was punched in his face, and eventually he drowned. And that happened within 2 days after the killing of his son. Now, okay, the prosecution says that he was trying to escape and hide. Okay, so what do you think the person who escapes, and especially a soldier, would wear in order to survive in the wild? He was wearing trainers, and he did not have any food with him. That does not make any sense whatsoever. Also, the neighbors said that on the day of killings, in the morning, around 7 a.m., there was a very strange big car parked in front of the block of flats where the killings happened. And there were 2 men doing something with the pipes, like, I don't know, inspecting the pipes, changing the pipes, doing something with the pipes. And the neighbors had not been informed before of any kind of inspection, sorry. So it was strange. The car was there for some time, like an hour or so, and then it disappeared. Now, that's not all. 29th of July, so 2 months before this killing, another soldier, another Navy soldier, working in the same harbor, killed his daughter by cutting her throat, killed his dog by cutting its throat, and killed himself. It was considered as a suicide, expanded suicide. But it was the same. The manner of killing was the same. So the question is, why would two people, two soldiers, kill the families in the same manner, killing their pets as well? My answer is simple. A few months before the killings, the police, together with the Navy, captured the smuggling of cocaine in the same harbor. That was one of the biggest smuggling in the history, worth millions of euros. So it was supposed to go into the European market. Someone must have been very pissed off. Imagine the carters who lost lots of money. Maybe someone also within the Navy knew more than others, saw more than others, or maybe someone helped because, well, to smuggle and they needed to have somebody inside to be sure that the trucks would come into the market without any problems. But no, they were intercepted by the police and the Navy. So someone just, maybe there was a snitch, maybe someone talked too much, I don't know, but you know, cartels are very vindictive, and when they kill, it's not just killing one person. They kill to show the others, shut the fuck up, or you know what will happen to you and your family. Sorry, vindictive. Okay. So The first soldier died. I don't think he killed himself. I don't think he killed his daughter. Moreover, I don't think the second father killed his son. I think he was running away when he saw what had just happened. However, he was caught and killed. And now the prosecution, as you can expect, tried to brush it under the carpet. Now, what about the diver who died under the water? Nothing. We know nothing of that. And nobody cares. Maybe he saw too much and he had to die. We don't know. But there was no reason for him to die. He was experienced. And the conditions in which he worked were not extreme. So as you can see, they were killed. Both killings were done with a knife. And there were more than one casualty. And it was all very bloody. Throats were cut. Animals were killed. It was so vindictive. It was so much to show. Look, next time you try to say too much, this is the warning for the rest of you. And now let's move on to Idaho4. Because as you can see, you say cartels do not use knives, they use weapons, they use other weapons like guns with silencers or as you say mufflers to execute the people. No. And that was done very swiftly, precisely, just like in those two cases that I've just explained to you. And that was also, Idaho4. Who said that there was no connection with drugs? Who said that? The house was known for drugs. The families were known for drugs. Who said that something happened? Maybe that's only speculations. Something happened and somebody didn't like that. And they decided to show the others, look, if you don't listen, if you decide to be arrogant and object, this is what's going to happen to you as well. I don't know, but things like that happen not only in America. And police, prosecution brush it under the carpet as well. That's what I wanted to tell you. And I'm leaving you with that stories to consider, because I don't believe that one person such as Kohlberger, who had no connections with the victims whatsoever. And moreover, he had no motive. What, he was in love with one of them and he decided to kill the rest? He wanted to become a serial killer, and he decided to start making so many mistakes when he studied criminology. That does not make any sense. That does not make any sense. The prosecution is lying to us because the case is more than you can imagine. That's what I wanted to tell you and leave you with. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for your comments. They are great. Waiting for more. And see you next time. Take care of yourselves. The world is so dangerous. See you next time. Bye.